Shalom. New York Times has, as I mentioned in another video, every year at the beginning for the last 7 years, the beginning of December, a Year in Ideas issue of their magazine. And a rabbi reading that sometimes reflects Jewishly about an article that seemingly has nothing to do about Judaism. There's 2 items that were in the magazine at the beginning of the articles that I thought had a lot of significance for the survival of the West and for the security of the State of Israel. And they seemingly, when you think about them, have nothing to do with it, but when you ponder it a little bit more, I think hopefully you'll see the connection that I see. One of them had to do with asteroids. Now, the science about asteroids is that there's a very small statistical chance, unlikely chance, that any of the asteroids out there, which we can identify now increasingly well, will strike the Earth. However, if they strike the Earth, it will be devastating. And scientists can't agree on what to do, even if they could determine precisely that one asteroid was going to come. Because let's say it's going to, as one scientist in my congregation, when he heard this sermon mentioned to me, let's say you think an asteroid is going to hit the ocean, and you try and deflect it, and you want to break it into a lot of little pieces. Instead, you break it into 2 big pieces. Each piece falls on a major city. So what does it have to do with Judaism? Well, right now, the American intelligence community has concluded that Iran is unlikely to build a nuclear weapon. They're probably not planning to do so. Now, I think that's hogwash, and not that I'm an expert, but all the experts I read, whom I trust over the years, conclude that the American intelligence reports on Iran are not intelligent. But even if they are right, there is still a small statistical chance that Iran is proceeding full blast on trying to develop nuclear weapons and is hiding it from us. Wouldn't it be prudent to devote a lot of effort on the small chance that Iran is trying to develop nuclear weapons to figure out a way to stop them? Because if they get nuclear weapons, it's going to be like an asteroid hitting the Earth. They have promised to destroy Israel. The president of Iran has asked his people to imagine a world without the United States. Everybody agrees they've now got missiles that can reach Western Europe and Israel, and soon will be able to reach the United States in a few years. So apply that analysis. The second article that has to do with this was about biofuels. They said that people are working very hard on developing increasingly energy productive alternatives to gasoline. So when you buy ethanol gas, it's 10% gas. One of the problems today is it takes so much energy to make that, it's probably not worth it. So all these companies have been working, and they're still very far away. But the New York Times says until now that a fellow who was one of the major developers of a huge computer company and has poured hundreds of millions of dollars into Google is investing a lot of capital venture money into companies, and they think they're close to a big breakthrough, which they believe in converting vegetable matter into usable fossil fuels to power cars and things. And they believe that within 20 years, 45% of the oil that we import will not need to be imported. Now, that's a very interesting fact, but for me, when I read about that, it seems to me it cuts the legs out from these tyrannical Arab regimes that are hurting the world, fostering terrorism, and threatening the security of America and Israel. And so these 2 articles that seemingly have nothing to do with security of the West, about biofuels and asteroids, I think, in effect, can be metaphors for very important analysis applied to these important issues. Shalom.